Today, our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months.
Well, just check out this propaganda.
Just a short clip. This is somebody else's work, but I always like to say, when I have confirmation of what the Lord has shown me, his 2 cents. So I'm putting his 2 cents on this. So his 2 cents is, because he has perfect sense, from a vision that he gave me. Communist invasion dream, the 6th of the 1st, 2020. There were many things in it, but it basically had me wake with two very, very clear visions. One of them was of a lake. Now the lake is always the cult. I know it. The Lord knows I know it. It is the cult. It is the one world order. It is the system. Elohim's system is a cult. Because inevitably there's one leader. There are many gods, but one leader. He's a star, isn't he? Is he not a star? Well, this is a German cover, and that word there means star. But I just wanted to include the Trump bit because in front of this lake were 3 kings. One was in charge giving the orders, and I saw them in this garb, which is reminiscent of Santa's clothes, or red with white trim. They had crowns. But this vision was after Christmas, because it was last Christmas, but it was for this Christmas, which is last Christmas. This is last Christmas. And these 3 kings got on their horses and rode. And just in time for this last Christmas, the Lord showed me, and I've uploaded it, that, I know it sounds convoluted, but makes perfect sense to those that have turned up. The other 3 kings, the 3 last kings in Revelations. So I added Trump because Trump was the first one who rode off on the horse. He's the 6th king there is. Obama is the 5th king, giving the orders to the 6th king. And of course Biden is the 7th king. And then Obama is the king that was, the 5th king that was not, but then is again, who is the 8th king, who's off the 7th king, who is Biden, who is a Democrat. So they're the 3 kings. The horse I saw and the king I saw was Trump. So he's done his thing. He's distributed this vaccine. And in the horse's mane was fire. And when I looked closely, and they were riding hard and fast, there was a fiery fox. Trump is a fox that ruins the nest. He's flushed out all the so-called Christians. Anyone who might not consent to this new cult lake, this new era, this utopia, this age of Aquarius, 21st December. The sign, the star, the windy, dangerous star. So I just think it's an interesting cover, because then the Lord reminded me just over the last month, at the same time as it suddenly hit me, who the 3 kings were, and how it was all around Christmas time, and Obama and his promised land, and how obvious it is that he's always been on this backstage, that he's Biff, that they keep showing Biff, the backstage manager, that he's the Scorpion King, that he's the president, that he's God. And then another show on the Kimball show most recently is Back to the Future. You can have a look. The car turns up. And the Lord had already likened it to when Elisha, which was the one who had the double anointing, went up the mountain to seek God and was taunted by 32 children. And he brought, for being bold, and he brought the word of the Lord, and he called out the bear. Because the Lord's in control of the bear. Obama's the bear. I saw him in the dream, upside down, moving up and down. Hope I'm not going too fast for you. But you see, time is short, and you need to get this. What comes out of that forest is 2 she-bears. 2 she-bears. And before the Lord showed me that scripture, after he showed me that Obama was the bear, he showed me a picture of a forest with a bear in it. I saw the bear, or he wouldn't have been able to say what he said to me. And he said to me, you can't see the bear from the woods. Then that bear come out, and it was clear to see because it was on a white tarpaulin. And I saw God's hand, big hand, coming down, grab all 4 corners, pull it up like a hanky. He said, I'm wrapping this up. He's wrapping this up. So on the Kimball show, if you have a look, the Back to the Future show, where Biff is Trump, where the backstage manager is called Biff, and over the years has appeared once. He was likened to a president. The second time, with Jim Carrey, he was likened to God with the yellow glow. And now I watched the Kimball show just after the episode that he did with Obama Bear and the promised land that he's going into. He's coming into his. He's been birthed. He's been birthed. The Lord showed me a picture of a woman in stirrups. It had metal, like a cog around it. To the left was Hillary Clinton. To the right was Biden. They were the midwives. They were helping birth. They're the Democrats that birthed this man. We're just sort of, they're there. And Trump's the duck. The decoy duck flushing out the so-called Christians and the Christians. You know what the intention of a decoy is, don't you? It's not the actual hunter. The actual hunter is Obama, and nobody's looking. Nobody's looking. They're all focused on the decoy. They think it's them. It quacks. They come out. They're on the lake. They're on the lake. They're already herded. The troopers are already herded. They've been watching the parade. I keep seeing them watching the parade. And in my bathroom dream, which I had after the kick-off event here in New Zealand, the El Nor Mosque event, straight after that, I had a dream of the bathroom. I was in it, but I hated it. I'm telling you, I hate it. I have had enough of it. And that's what the Lord said to me. He said to me, enough. I've had enough. He's had enough of the duck. He's had enough of his enough is enough statements. He said, I've had enough. I bought that word. Well, I've had enough. It's been painful. It's getting more and more painful watching the parade. And in my dream, that's what I did. The Lord has called me to do it. I know I'm different, and I see yous all herded. Just ushered down from watching the parade. And you go out, you leave your bathroom, you leave your place with God because of a sound in the ear. It's in the ear, isn't it? I couldn't hear it, but I knew it was there. And it was like walking down, everyone coming out of their homes, walking down the road. And there was an invasion. There was a home invasion. First, someone would come into my bathroom, jump in my bath, a young girl, looked innocent enough. That's why I walked out. And then in my kitchen, there's all these gossiping women. Rumours. Lots of rumours. Are you hearing lots of rumours? Are you listening to the rumours? What's the name of that band? They've got an album called Rumours. She's a witch. Well, the women are in the kitchen, chatting away. But they don't go and watch the parade. No, because they're invited to the arena, the main event. But those that are watching the parade, the truthers, they think they're outside of the game. They're outside of it, because when we climb up, and I climb up, I've got glory on my shoulder. The Lord shows me I'm different. But we're watching from the road. We climb up, and then we're at the level of the road, but we're not on the footpath waving flags. But that's the deception. You're still watching it. And then it's just a gentle ushering. And the women that appear that usher us down, they're in like, now, look, I know that the Mennonites aren't necessarily a cult, but, think of the chaste clothing. That's why these ladies are in this clothing. One of them, the first one, I thought I recognised her. And I had such great love for her, because I'm cold to the church, to the mean. I'm called to the truthers and to the church and the mean. And the love I felt for her, I grabbed her and I hugged her with all my might. She was just about off her feet. And then when I placed her down to the ground, she just ushered me. And then there was another woman who was easier to pick. She had a more mean face. She was doing the same. But everyone was, and as I was walking around, I was thinking, why are we going down this path with these hoardings when I can see gaps between the hoardings and there's bush? Like there's a native bushscape. We could have, anyone, I was thinking, we could just, why are we doing this? Why don't we slip through the gaps and take off? The opportunity is missed when you get to the top of the shape and then you go in and there's masses of people. And I saw something in a dream. I saw something on the internet the night before, and I realised, and I had this ominous feeling. And I warn everyone, they're starting to move forward. There's an opening at the end, and they're shuffling forward. It does remind me of that movie Logan's Run. It's like a science fiction movie, really. I mean, everyone knows that. It's like they're living through one, isn't it? But it's a place of no return. There is no coming back from it. And I do believe it was the COVID tracing system. I mean, I just spent 20 minutes on Facebook because I'm trying to get homes for the dogs, and oh man, there's someone on there complaining about the local supermarket. They stood there and watched 50 people go through, and only 3 people scan their phones. And then I noticed one of a friend, but well, she's not a friend. I met her I bought a fridge off her actually, and we made friends. But then I realised that she knew the fallen angel, you know, the man who came to the glory hut and released death in the glory hut. Like, he saw my one-way sign, and then it's like it dawned on him, and he manifests, and he said, I have an army. I said, oh, do you? He said, yeah. I said, how many in your army? He said, 11. He said, 9. And he said, no, 9, no, 11. He was saying 9/11. He was mocking. I had no idea about 9/11. I hadn't at that stage, it was June 2018, ever been on YouTube. I was never a truther. I was never a fact finder. But the Lord led me to become that person, to watch the parade, so that I could bring you this message. But nobody's hearing it. No one's hearing it. It's like they're bored with what the Lord is saying. Or it doesn't suit them for some reason. I don't understand why. I think it's because by nature we want to be in control. Not led. No, we don't want to be led. And we definitely don't want to sacrifice our lifestyle, what we have here. We want to fight for liberty and freedom, the American way of life.
Thank you to the person that sent this in. Just a short video today to show you the cover of this German magazine, which is called Stern, which means star in German. It's a scene on the front of this new magazine of the Nativity, with one of the kings bringing a gift on the front there of the COVID-19 vaccine. Don't know if you can see that the quality is not too good there, but it says COVID-19 on the vaccine. Bringing a gift of the COVID-19 vaccine to the Christ child. Just absolute shameless propaganda for the vaccine. And here in German it says, an act of charity.
Right. Oh, just in case there's a whole sentence.
Vaccinate.
There we go. Right, charity. Bible change, KJV. There's 3 things. Love. No, it was it. Faith, hope, and charity. And the greatest of these is charity. Anyone got a check in their spirit? Anyone just sort of think, that doesn't sound quite right, but I'll go with it. It's in the Bible. Well, it isn't. It's a change. It's a change. And it's like the ministry of the false prophet, really. I know about charity because I saw through it. And, you know, the elite private schools, they're all talking about charity. Charity. Because it's not love, it's not power. It's not power. Charity. You know, it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing in the Bible, but to put it, to esteem it as the greatest of these things, when it's not even one of those things, you know it's not one. It's faith, hope, and love. Basically, they've taken God out of the Bible because God is love. He said he was love, and replaced him with charity. You're serving a God of charity because charity leaves room for the ego, doesn't it? And what did Jesus say about giving? What did he say about giving? Basically the same thing as he said about fasting. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone when you give. They tell everyone. Have you heard them? They tell everyone. The government's giving. We know what they're giving. They're telling everyone. The American government, they're giving a lot to other countries, and there's resentment and more division in that because the money's not going to the American people, the small business owners that have lost their jobs. It doesn't take much to watch this parade. It doesn't take much. But you all have massive egos about how much you know. But you know nothing because you don't inquire of God. And my people perish through lack of knowledge. And that's offensive to you because you think you have knowledge. You have greater knowledge because you're watching the parade from street level. You're not stupid. You're not standing there waving flags. You can see through it. Well, God can see through you. God can see through you. And he can see your heart. That's why you're so hard to penetrate. Because God resists the proud. I keep finding the pride. I keep finding the pride. And I'm not looking for it. God's showing me it over and over again. And I hate watching the parade. I can't wait for it to end and for the Lord to move me on. Because this is not it for me. I'm here to carry glory. I do carry glory, but I'm here to administer the glory as a vessel of God's glory. How many more of you have that desire in your heart that haven't found me? For goodness sake, no one's found me. And that is just exactly what the Lord said. All creation cries out for the sons and daughters of God to be revealed. And no one's seeking them out or asking who they are. So I'm going to have to bring a Christmas message because the messages just keep coming and coming and coming. And I've done this before when I've held back. But the good thing is that when I bring it, I get to bring the second romantic movie that the Lord showed me. And the first one was a kicker. But you wouldn't know about that. It's Sleepless in Seattle. The second one is Message in a Bottle. And I will tell you this. One of the puppies that were born is called tribute. Maybe do a wee study on the word tribute. So we've got 3 kings only a few weeks ago, just as the Lord showed me about the 3 kings being the 2 decoys. And was I walking down the same track where the river is, where the baptism happened? Reminded me of when I was a child, that the Lord reminded me soon after my salvation, that he was there watching me in class, sitting at my desk with the nuns, going with my hand up, oh, I want to play that part. In the school Christmas play, I had the same nun for 2 years because it was a composite class, and I'm pretty sure one of those years I didn't get a part, but second time, yeah, I got a part, but not the one I wanted. I was one of the kings, one of the 3 kings, and there's no accidents or mistakes. And I remembered the song I sang. I'm going to sing it for you at the end. I don't know who these 3 kings are in this picture, but what's the bet? The one that's holding the COVID bottle is the one I was. But it's not me ministering it, but it's the Lord allowing it. He is. Because he's in control, isn't he? You ask him why he's allowing this. Why does Clec have a ministry called Before the Fire? Why is there a fire? What would be the reason for that? Could it be a wicked generation? Could it be our hearts? Could it be that the Lord intends to refine you in the fire? Could it be that in the Master's house there are many vessels, some noble purposes, some for ignoble purposes? Could it be that your destiny is to die by the sword that you pick up? Or are you destined to hear? Are you destined to go home? Are you not just called, but chosen? Because you would be hearing this message if you were. But in saying that, the Lord is calling those, because of the word I brought in 2018, I just read it again a couple of days ago. God is choosing those who are faithful and those who will be proven faithful. So he is a God of the past, the present, and the future. So he can see whether you will. I understand you can't see it. I didn't see it. But when you see it, you're accountable. And he could be arriving in some form or another, maybe not the way we perceive him to arrive, at any moment. At any moment. And will you be ready? Well, I know I'm chosen, because when the Lord reminded me the day of my salvation, a few days after, about 28 years ago, that he was there and he saw me in that classroom bobbing up and down on my chair asking to be picked, and how the enemy wrote in my heart like with a blade, I never get picked, I never get picked for anything. And just in one word, the Lord undone that whole concept, that whole lie. The enemy, he works so hard to imprint these lies. He just undone it. I was undone before him. And I was grateful, and I was happy, and I was thankful to finally have a father who told me the truth. Whether I liked it or not, he will tell you the truth, and he tells me the truth, and we have to receive it. It's the awful truth. But boy, it really is great to be undone. It's like a potter destroying a pot and forming it again into a noble vessel. But it was always intended to be noble. Some of you, God's intention has always been for ignoble purposes. So we can see those ones as well. And that's why we thank God. We thank God for our enemies. We thank God for our enemies. And we bless them because they have a purpose. We're not impartial. The Lord is not impartial. His sun shines and the rain falls on all men alike. And when he goes out, when he sends his servants out from the city, because the two other groups were too busy and made excuses, when they go out to the highways and byways, the servants, to invite them to the master's feast, they invite the good and the bad. So stop judging your enemy. Because I hear it. Oh, we need this or that disaster, because that will get rid of the elites. All the things that Lucifer, that Satan has been working so hard to bring division, so that you will say those things, that you will be divided, so he can then come in once everyone's under the bus and bring order. It's a perfect plan, isn't it? Because he ain't going to look after any of you. So don't look at your enemy as if, well, they're not redeemable. Because we have too many examples, and God has worked too hard to give you his word and show you. And you are too arrogant and proud to see your own, that like the sin, that how unredeemable were you? Oh, but you just, well, I didn't really do anything that bad in my life, so that's the reason. No. Because Jesus said he condemns your thought life. Even the thought of sin. There's no one. And he doesn't measure it. The smallest is as bad as the biggest. That's why I made a point to tell you, because the Lord put it in my testimony. A man, a very evil man, is gonna be there if you make it into the heavenlies. He's gonna be there. Todd. I've forgotten his name now. Ted Bundy. Yeah, he's gonna be there. He's gonna be there. Think of someone that you wouldn't think would be there. There's a perfect example in the Gospels. Saul is a perfect example. They couldn't trust him. The disciples. Because they couldn't see with the Lord's eyes. They couldn't see that the Lord positioned him as the greatest perpetrator of evil against the new Christian church and the saints. He was. He was there. He witnessed Stephen stoning So yeah, you watch the parade, you judge the us and the them, and you get hurted because you're not staying in your bathroom. Because you're not in your bathroom. When he comes, he's coming for the ones that are in the bathroom, or at least know how to get there, so they can get there real quick. Do you know how to cry out? Have you ever really felt you needed to? Because that's what's coming. But luckily, or blessedly, that's really not my ministry, but it seems to be. I don't know. Anyway, this is just a chit chat. So I'm going to finish with a song. So, my name is Balkasha. I come from a land and I've travelled far. I too have come this way to see that shining star. Something like that. So the point is, this one here, this magazine confirms the three kings. One of them's bringing the vaccine. That's your Trump. Oh look, there's a black one. Let's have a look at that.
Imphen means vaccinate in bold letters. An act of charity, vaccinate. That's what I've been reliably informed that means in German. And we have there the star, which is the logo for the magazine, but in this scene is actually acting as the Star of Bethlehem on the left there. This
Great timing for the Star of Bethlehem, wasn't it? So anyway, when I was bobbing up and down in my seat, establishing a lie in my heart by believing the father of lies, the Lord showed me he knew it. He knew what was in there. And it was love. That he knew it. Do you understand? It wasn't that he was telling me that I was a sinner to believe a lie. It was love and compassion. That he knew that I'd believed a lie, if that makes sense. And I was undone, because he said this: I chose you. I chose you. Just remember, he chose you before you chose him. He's a mysterious God. And one of the first things he showed me was he was a God of the past, present and future. So it's a tricky one, but it's beautiful when you get it. Look, I'm right out of time. Bless you.